Howdy folks, and welcome to another edition of Musket Matters. Today we're going to talk about cartridges that you would use when shooting in the North-South Skirmish Association. The NSSA is a competition shooting organization that was founded in 1950 and focuses on competitive shooting using firearms, originals, and reproductions from the era of the American Civil War. Now before I get started, rules change all the time. So be sure to check out the rules page of the North-South Skirmish Association. Anything that I say here in this video will be superseded by whatever you find in those rules. So if the rules change or if I make a mistake, it's the rules that win, not me. All right, so cartridges. So for any kind of muzzle loading arm that you're going to be shooting or revolvers, you're going to need some kind of cartridge to contain your powder and your bullet. They don't allow loading from a flask, so you're going to have some kind of cartridge. Now, in period, they would have used something similar to this. So this is the US 1855 and 1862 style of paper cartridge. And you can use these in the North-South Skirmish Association. A lot of people choose not to for a couple reasons. Number one, these are disposable items. So you're going to go to the trouble to make them, and then when you use them, you tear them to pieces and they're not reusable anymore. So for that reason, a lot of people don't go to the trouble. The other thing is they can be slower to use than the modern equivalent that people typically tend to use. However, they are legal to use. It's important to note that only these two styles of cartridges are approved for use in the NSSA. And the important thing about these kinds of cartridges is the bullet gets removed from the cartridge and is loaded naked down the bore. So no paper goes down the bore, and no paper is allowed to go down the bore for any kind of historical cartridge that you're going to consider. So important note there. Most people end up using these rubber tubes, and what these rubber tubes were originally designed for was to protect threaded fittings. So if you're a manufacturer of some kind of thing, a widget that has a threaded rod that's sticking out the side of it, then often they will take these rubber tubes and fit it over the threaded fitting to protect it in shipping and handling, to keep the threads from getting buggered up. So that's what these things are really intended for, but we've discovered that they're available in a whole variety of diameters and lengths. And so they make very nice, reusable cartridges for what we're doing. So how does that work? Well, you'll take your rubber tube, and these are available from a variety of sources, which I'll have links down below. But you'll take your plastic or rubber tube, and you will fill it with whatever your pre-measured charge is, that whatever you've determined is best for your particular arm and bullet combination. So whatever your charge is, you'll dump the charge into the tube, and then you'll take your lubricated bullet and you just stick it in like a cork, and that constitutes your cartridge. To use the cartridge, you'll be at the firing line, and you'll remove the bullet, pour the powder down the muzzle, and you'll then take the empty tube and either toss it on the ground, or a lot of people are lazy like me and will have a tin cup on our gun belt, and you can just throw it in the tin cup. In any case, once that's gone, then you'll take your lubricated bullet, set it in the muzzle, and load it as normal. So this becomes a very convenient, low cost, and reusable mechanism to create cartridges for the North-South Skirmish Association. They're available in a variety of diameters for different calibers, and they work very well. So once we have cartridges, you're going to need some kind of cartridge box to bring your ammunition to the range. Now, I tend to use purpose-made ammunition boxes. This is made by MTM Case Guard. Highly recommend them. Great customer service. If anything ever breaks on your box, they've just sent them to me for free. A couple of times that I've had a broken hinge or whatever. So can't recommend them enough. For a 58 caliber arm, this is a 20 gauge shotgun shell box. It comes with two 50 round trays. Very nice. This is what I use for my smoothbore ammunition. It's a 12 gauge shotgun shell box made by Plano. And again, same kind of deal. Don't know who makes this one. I've got masking tape with my load information on it, but I think I just picked this up at Cabela's. But this has got, you know, little chambers appropriate for revolver ammunition. So you're going to need something, you know, even if it's just a Tupperware container, you're going to need some kind of sealed container to transport your cartridges. You don't want to have loose cartridges rolling around. You know, sometimes, you know, a bullet will fall out and powder will go, and so you want this in some kind of box to contain all that. In addition, when you're at the range and you're loading your cartridge box to get ready to go to the firing line, after you've taken out some cartridges, you want to be able to close up that box to protect it from, you know, any kind of spark getting in there or somebody knocking your ammo over and cartridges going everywhere, whatever. So you need some kind of box to hold your cartridges. We'll talk about leathers in another video, but obviously, you know, as I talked about, when you're using these things, it's nice to have a tin cup to toss your empties into, so you don't have to, if you got old knees, you don't have to scrounge around on the ground and pick up that kind of stuff. So that's cartridges in a nutshell. Revolver loading is a little bit different. You don't necessarily need a gun belt for going to load your revolver. I'll do a separate video on revolver loading, but as far as cartridges go, it's the same story. You need some kind of tube to hold your pre-measured charge and your bullets, and that's you know, that's what you're going to need for a revolver also. Breech loading arms are a little different. They have self-contained cartridges that get loaded into the arm, and we'll talk about that in a different video. So as far as muzzle loading arms goes, that's about all there is to it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and tune in for more videos. Thanks.
This video is sponsored by Fourth Armory, your source for templates for making historical paper cartridges.